Konnichiwa! Welcome to another episode of Sub-Auteurs!
Pikachu.
Wait, is this a mini-sode?
No,
No, it's not.
it's my Japanese voice.
Wait,
Your Japanese
so
voice
your
sounds
Japanese
like your
voice.
tiny voice.
Wait, so your Japanese voice is an octave higher than your normal voice.
Well, it makes sense because my Pikachu voice, Pikachu was created in Japan, so it makes sense. Anyway, I'm
makes sense.
MJ.
I'm Misha.
And I'm Anjo.
We are the Sub-Auteurs, and today we'll be talking about a new release on Netflix that has us all nostalgic for days when we would come home and watch anime in various forms, dubs, and formats.
That's a clue.
That is a clue. Anjo, do you want to give a clue?
X.
Oh my
wait.
god.
Sorry. Sorry. It's
Actual
like,
hell.
I don't know. What? Clue. Red hair. I don't know.
Whoever's listening already probably picked it up by reading the title, so...
Possibly. Unless they liked and subscribed. Unless they liked and subscribed us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts. In which case, they would have gotten this on their feeds automatically.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get more of this chaos. But yes, we are talking about the new release on Netflix, which is technically the fourth Rurouni Kenshin film called Rurouni Kenshin, The Final.
It is so confusing, that title, I swear.
I know.
I don't know.
There was... Because the last movie, the third one was The Legend Ends, and then follows this one, which is The Final, which will be followed by The Beginning.
The beginning.
So
I'm so confused.
Did they George Lucas the whole thing? It's like, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't freaking know.
But if you're already a fan of the Rurouni Kenshin franchise, you probably already know what happens anyway. So we don't really need to give a quick recap on what happens. You know who Kenshin is. You know who Hitokiri Batosai is. You know that X on his face.
Apparently, a lot of people in that movie didn't know what he looked like, though, except for the scar on his face.
But yes, we are going to be talking about The Final, which was just released. But before we get to that, how about we give our viewers, you can see us, our listeners.
I'm scared now.
You can see us.
We have a show now.
A quick rundown of what happened in the first three movies, or maybe what the manga or anime means to us and why this is a big deal.
Before we get started, we just want to call out the elephant in the room with regards to Nobuhiro Watsuki, the creator of Rurouni Kenshin, and his criminal activities, which we will not go into here. However, we are not in any way supporting his activities, and Warner Brothers has made it infinitely clear that he had nothing to do with the production of these last two films. His crimes are his own, and today we are keeping the discussion to the films and this franchise, which many of us grew up with, and that's the last that we're going to say on that subject.
Yeah, I mean, just like our general statements over problematic filmmakers, authors, etc., it doesn't take away the experience or your memories or what you grew to love about the material.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So it's still yours in a way. Your experience was yours, and it was not their own work solely, because there are many people who helped form whatever material that is. Could be a book. Well, the publishers worked so hard on it. Like if it was an adaptation, all the voice actors, all the animators, everybody involved in the production, it is also theirs to claim. So to just pin it on just one person, to make your opinion of it hinge on just one person, will be giving that power to that person. So claim it.
So to hell with that guy.
Still an awesome franchise.
Good stuff. Okay, cue the music.
Personally,
Alright,
I
that's
think
it.
it's...
That's it.
That's it. Cue the music.
Boom.
Go. Intro.
So yeah, a lot of us loved this anime, and in my personal opinion, I haven't watched anime since early college probably, but in my memory, Rurouni Kenshin has to be one of the best I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
I remember like, seeing it after school on AXN, on ABS-CBN in Filipino, and I couldn't get enough of it because it was just, you had your Dragon Ball, your Slam Dunk, your Ghost Fighter, but there was just
Sailor
something.
Moon.
And yes, you had Sailor Moon. Of course you did.
Just-
How could you
just-
forget?
Very
I would
important.
never forget
Pivotal.
Sailor Moon. But like, there was something different about this one for some reason, because unlike a lot of the others, this one was anchored somewhat in like Japanese culture in a way that was more connected to the real world. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It
Yes.
totally does. It doesn't involve like Dragon Balls or like moon goddesses or
There were
whatever.
no superpowers ish.
No
If you-
talking
if you-
cats.
Yeah, no talking cats. Yes, no talking cats. And they kept all the no, not really, not in the anime though. But what I meant was the caricature type drawings for anime. They kept it at the minimum compared to others.
I don't know. I think it was
And,
pretty stylized. I don't see many Japanese samurai with red hair.
A little
Yeah.
bit, yeah. But
Yeah,
at least for me, it's what really genuinely got me interested in Japanese culture. Because like Misha said, it was deeply rooted in it. It did involve some history, albeit, of course, fictionalized. But
Mhm.
you see the rich, very violent past, warring past. But at the same time, the kimonos, the mannerisms, how they speak and everything. It was very, very, I guess that was my exposure to actual Japanese culture.
Yeah, but it was deeply rooted in Japanese history because the character of
Mhm.
Kenshin Himura was based on an actual samurai named Kawakami Gensai. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but look it up. That's the guy who formed the character of Kenshin. So there. It's pretty cool, right? So I think Misha is on point when they saying that it was deeply rooted in reality because they clearly based it on a real person. So
Well,
it had a
wasn't-
lot. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like I like that they used history as a starting point to tell all these fantastic, crazy, wild stories.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, it told something that was a story that was like inherently Japanese. Because for
Mhm.
everyone who's not familiar, the story started like at the turn of the last. Oh my God, no! It was like 2 centuries ago. At this point, we're in the 21st century now. Oh, it's so weird.
Mm.
So like in my head, it's still the late 90s and the early 2000s. So you'll have to forgive me. Fucking A.
Are people still wearing like boleros and
Me-
And then for some guys wearing puka shells.
They
I hear-
refuse to stop. They
I hear
refuse
that-
to stop.
No, but I hear puka shell type necklaces are making a comeback. In the form of pearl necklaces. I hear that's a thing now. I don't
What
know.
the actual hell?
Yeah,
Maybe
my
you can
wife-
dust off your elephant pants. What? Sorry.
clean the floor with it.
I don't know.
Anyway.
My elephant pants are now pamunas or pamunas ng sahig or whatever. I don't know where my elephant pants are now.
So basically, the story starts a couple of centuries ago when Japan was at a crossroads. They didn't know. I mean, they were fighting over.
I knew somebody
whether-
was gonna sing Crossroads. I was waiting for someone to sing Crossroads.
Oh my God!
Oh,
Sorry. Ooh, okay.
wrong
I'm gonna miss
country,
everybody. I'm gonna miss everybody. Okay, I'm done.
wrong country, wrong
So-
culture.
Japan had just come off like 200 years of isolationist policy where basically, they weren't trading with anyone. They didn't have diplomatic relations with their neighbors. They were all just doing their own thing. In the meantime, the world had the Industrial Revolution, and one day America sailed warships into their port and said, open up your borders or else. So now there was like this whole thing where Japan became super modern, super fast just to catch up. And there were people who wanted it to stay closed. There were people who liked the way it was. There were people who liked the way that the shoguns ran the country and the warlord feudal system that was there. But then there were people like Kenshin and people who thought like him who said that, no, we have to join the rest of the world. We have to move forward. And that is the fight that turned him into the most feared assassin in Japan. The show picks up basically where he's left that life behind. Japan is moving forward. They're becoming more and more Western. They're catching up with progress. And it's about how somebody from the old world has to adjust to this new reality that he helped create. But the
Mhm.
ghosts of his past keep coming up to bite him in the ass, basically.
I mean, if you are the number one or the assassin of your time, of course these ghosts are gonna keep coming up. Some people are always gonna want to fight you or beat you or kill you or out for your, somebody's gonna want to stick a knife in your back because you've probably killed somebody who's important to them or you've killed a cause that's important to them or whatever, which is great because it gave us all these amazing fight sequences in the anime and in the movie.
And the cool thing about the fights in the show and in the movie or even the manga where it started was that he made it a point not to kill his opponents. Like his sword, it has a reverse edge blade. That means the blade is facing him on the inside curve of the sword. And he would use that against guys who really wanted to murder his ass. And somehow he would always find a way not to kill them.
Yeah,
Well,
so it's all about his redemption arc and how he's fighting for a new world / fighting for peace. And that's how this unfolds. But yeah, this is such a great story of redemption too. It's like you may have committed all these sins in the past, but as long as you work your way up to making up for it, that's what Kenshin's all about, which is why he refuses to kill. And the anime circles around it. And I guess for the movie, that's also where it was at some point. The first 3 focused on Kenshin meeting Kamiya Kaoru, his, I guess we can say love interest, no matter how much they painfully deny it as characters until the very end. Oh my God.
They're so
These
cute.
two are so dense, but
They are so cute.
I know they are. And yeah, this is how Kenshin finds a home and does his very best to really defend his
I don't think they're
family.
dense though. I don't think they're dense though. I just think they're just really pakipot. It's like
What?
Medyo dense si Kenshin. TBH.
I think Kenshin is dense.
Hindi.
Like,
I don't
seriously.
no. I would
Kenshin
no.
is dense.
Kenshin
Kaoru
is
cute. Kenshin is dense.
Kenshin
Yeah,
isn't dense.
Kenshin's an idiot.
He's still
Yeah,
Dude.
Megumi has to keep reminding him, like, get a clue. Or like,
What if he just what what if he's just playing into that considering his past? Come on.
I don't. No. Look, look. At the beginning of the show, there's this other character, Megumi, who's like their hot doctor friend who makes opium.
It's accurate.
Who makes drugs? It's a long story. But
She's
just watch the
coerced.
first 3 movies.
yeah, she's that.
Yeah, well, yeah.
No, but look. At the first few episodes, she's trying to get into Kenshin's pants, but even she can see that these two are so in love that at some point she is pushing them towards each other, and they're still not doing it.
That's because I don't know.
Kenshin
Kenshin had so much baggage, man. Like, come on, the whole thing with Tomoe,
Fine.
which we will get
Fine.
into.
Fine, but I think I still say Kenshin's a little dense.
Yeah, he's kind of a dense guy. But actually, that's something that I like about the film.
Is adorbs.
Yes, I mean, Kenshin is incredibly dense. And I think that is something that's great about the live action version played by Takeru Sato, formerly of the Kamen Rider franchise. What I like about it is he's able to balance Kenshin's killer tendencies and he is amazing in the fight scenes. But when the scene calls for it, he can be a complete idiot on a dime. He just be like this clueless country bumpkin who has no idea what's going on, and he has no idea that this girl likes him, and she's right in front of him.
That's the charm of Kenshin in general. He is so different from Hitokiribatosai that everybody's after. Because when he turns that mode on, it's like he turns into some sort of killer demon. But, well, not really. Sort of. But when he's around the people that he loves, he just turns into an absolute softie with the cutest smile ever.
He is a teddy bear who just likes eating street food and wondering what the hell is going on.
Yep.
And
He
that's something
he seemed
that
like to be a clueless guy most of the time. I don't think he's dense when it came to Kaoru though.
Yeah, we're back on that. Yeah, he was an idiot.
Moving on.
So that was a 2012 movie. The original show ran in the 90s, and the first movie came out in 2012. And then it was so successful, the second and the third movies were shot back to back. They came out in 2014 with Kyoto Inferno and The end. Of course.
20.
Who comes up
The
with these
legend
names?
ends.
The legend ends. Who comes up with these names? Because
I don't
clearly, if
know.
it made money, they were gonna make more. But so the first film covered more or less the basics about who and what he was, his career as the Hitokiri Batosai, and how he ended up with a new family and a life of peace.
Family.
Family. And
Family.
how he met his supporting cast, including a street fighter named Sanosuke, and their drug doctor Megumi,
Hot drug doctor.
They're hot drug doctor.
Fox Lady, yeah. And then the second and third movies dealt with something from the manga that was called the Kyoto arc, starring Shishio
Yes.
Makoto as the bad guy.
That
Which
was
actually-
the best arc.
That was great.
Creepy mummy
That
guy.
was
That was
creepy
the
mummy
best
dude.
arc ever.
Creepy fire mummy guy.
And that was the first time you actually see Batusai or Kenshin like tested. Reading the
Oh,
manga
yeah.
or watching the anime. Like you thought that Kenshin was going to die at some point fighting Shishio.
Right.
Yeah,
Because
he
like at
was-
the beginning,
he was a worthy adversary finally for Kenshin, I guess.
yeah.
Well, not saying that all the previous fights were easy in the first film, but if you think about a main villain that Kenshin will go against, it's always Shishio. It's like Batman and Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
No,
kind of the analogy for that.
Also, why that arc was so amazing is that everyone, even the supporting cast that Kenshin had somebody they would go up against. It was a perfect matchup for them. Like Sanosuke went up against Anji, this monk who basically has the same fighting style that Sanosuke had, but he mastered it with all his limbs. So Sanosuke had to come up with a plan on the fly just to counteract this guy, Anji, who had the really great backstory also, where he gets the ashes of his, burned brothers and puts them in his eyes to represent his tears. That's great.
So
Oh,
gross. That is so gross.
Yes,
It's-
but
it-
the Kyoto arc really gave you some memorable villains. Not just Shishio, but you also had the Jupon Katana or the Ten Swords.
Yeah.
Who I feel were kind of did dirty in the two films. Not
They
enough
were.
exposure, but what time did
But-
they have, really?
That's
and
true,
budget
like,
yan, that's budget.
Definitely.
that
And
was-
time.
I think it was time. Really, it was time.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the first movie, Sanosuke is just thrown in there. Like, 1 minute he's in prison, the next minute he's living with them,
Yeah. Well,
They just have a quick
Yeah.
fight at the beef hot pot place, and then all of a sudden he's their best friend. But
Beef hot
don't get
pot.
me wrong. At the premiere of the 2012 Rurouni Kenshin, whenever he would come out on screen and say his lines, he doesn't look like the guy in the manga. He doesn't look like the
No,
guy in
he
the
does
anime.
not.
Okay, wait.
He gets the character to a T.
You know
know.
what? To add to that point, is I remember my cousin. She had this huge crush on Sanosuke when you were watching the anime, and she said something about how when she saw the pictures before she saw the movie, she's like, "Oh my god, why are they doing this to Sanosuke? Where's the justice?" It's like, and then she finally sees the movie, and she's like, "Okay, I get it. I get why this guy got the role,
Mhm.
but still, pangit pa rin siya." It's like,
Well, here's what I
I-
gotta say about that, okay? Me and my priorities, you know me if you are a regular listener. But
Mhm.
objectively, okay, hindi sila sobrang pogi, okay? Not Kenshin.
okay,
not
starting off on the
Sano.
right foot.
But well, hindi. Medyo pogi din naman si Kenshin. But anyway, my point is, they are not
She took
as
it back. Please
conventionally
no, she took it back.
they are not as conventionally attractive as a lot of big stars, right? Like they would in a big blockbuster, you gotta have like good looking people. But these people, these actors embodied them so well na nakakapogi siya. Sobra. It's like they got the characters to a T that since you know those characters and you see them translated so well into film, it's like, yeah, I get it. And yeah, when you do that sword sequence, man, okay, yeah, you're hot. Okay, yeah, I'ma give it.
Who's your
Saya. Okay.
favorite? Who's your favorite translation into live action?
I didn't have a crush on Saito when in the anime. I actually honestly had a crush on Ayoshi when I was watching the anime because I thought I was Misao.
Oh, wait.
Misao was my favorite, and I like embodied her in grade school at some point.
All right.
But yeah, I had a crush on Ayoshi.
Okay.
He's also not conventionally Hollywood attractive, but he just got the character so well that it's like, oh, pogi. But
Okay.
Saito is my movie favorite because he may not have been attractive in the anime to me at all because he was always just so serious and surly. But the movie Saito is my fave, my absolute fave, because
Dude,
he
hell
added
yeah.
charm
Dude,
to it.
now-
He added
now- now-
He
humor.
is the best.
And
Now
he
that-
was so
that-
badass, and I love movie Saito so much.
Now that you mentioned Saito, because Saito is my favorite character in the anime. You know, this guy's just
Saito Hajime Shinsengumi san.
like the guy, just
He
the
had
guy.
to say it.
The, yeah,
I did.
nice. You can probably work as a voice actor in Japan. Just learn the language. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, Saito. So
Is that all? Is that all I have to do?
Saito was my favorite character in the anime. You know, because this guy looks so dangerous and so intimidating. You know, he's the guy who beat up Sanosuke in Sanosuke's game with a fist fight.
Right.
Then the promo pics come about the guy they cast as Saito.
Did
You
we
see-
watch the same movie?
No, I said sorry, my bad. You see this guy who's kind of stocky. You know, if you look at Saito in the anime, he has this long face with sharp features. Then you
Sharp angles.
see sharp
All
features.
angles.
They're probably sharper than Kenshin's reverse edge sword. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and
The
then you
only
see
what you
round
did there.
thing in his animated self were his eyes. He has eyeballs.
okay, fine, eyeballs. Kalo eyes. Even the eyes weren't round.
No,
Anyway.
I meant eyeballs.
Okay. Anyway, but you see the guy. I saw the guy's promo pics. I was like, oh, why does this guy look so stocky? And his head is boxy. Like it's so square. Bakit may panga? Like
To be fair, still angles.
You have
Okay.
such issues.
no. I mean, like nagulat ako. I mean, like
Yeah,
it
I
wasn't
see what you mean.
and Saito is tall in the anime, and you see this guy's like, he's as tall.
He's kilang.
I think Kenshin's taller than him.
No. He's still
Oh.
taller
No,
than
he's
Kenshin.
not.
He's still taller than Kenshin, but not as tall as the anime would be.
Yeah,
Even
I mean-
Sano wasn't as tall as the anime.
Yeah,
But the
but
second
you know,
Saito enters the room, holy
Yep.
hell.
With
Like,
that
he had this-
cigarette in his
he-
mouth like a
he-
fucking badass.
he got
He
the
does not give
swagger.
a he does
He
not
got-
give a shit.
He got the swagger that the anime Saito had.
Yes.
You know,
but
like,
he
he
made
got
it
it
likable somehow. So he's a
Mhm.
complete douchebag, but you're
No.
kind of rooting for him.
Yep. But there was this particular scene in the fourth movie where he actually spits out the cigarette where he was fighting a guy. It's like he's fighting a guy. And he was smoking while fighting the guy, and he just spits it out. It's like, "Tangina to, this guy talaga." Okay,
Oh, man.
Saito's
It's like
my
you know shit's
favorite.
going down when you bother him from
I
smoking.
know.
It's
Yeah,
like,
what do you
You
I-
know,
You dare bother me on my smoke break?
it's like, you
see
know,
While
he
his
took his
smoke break,
time.
he's still slashing people, but he's still smoking.
He
Yep.
took the
break
time
for him.
to like, he polished his boots, he pressed his uniform, he lit his cigarette, he got his 4 bangs right where he wanted them.
4 bags. He
And
really
now
had 4
you're making
bags.
him put out his cigarette because you have the temerity to challenge him to a sword fight. How dare you?
How
But-
dare?
How dare. Look, something else I love about Saito Hajime, for those who are not familiar, he's a police officer in the present day. He's a frenemy of Kenshin, I guess you could call him.
Yeah.
Yep. They used to be on opposite sides during the revolution, but now, now that the pro-democracy forces won out, I guess, they're on the same side. They just want a better tomorrow for their country. And whenever he enters a room, he's never in a hurry. Like,
No.
the bad part is that by the time he gets into the room, all of his men are dead, usually.
Mm. Do you remember that part
Probably like
in the?
burnt to a
do you remember?
burnt to a crisp.
Do you
by
remember when?
now.
You remember that part where they walk into a trap and he's like, "Damn it, it's a trap!" And then he's just walking.
I know.
It's
I
like,
know.
ah, okay.
Still just
Sense of
walking.
urgency. It's
Or
like,
how
okay,
about in
I'll
this
walk.
new movie? In the new movie where, Inishi is like slaughtering his men outside the train and he's just taking a stroll straight to the end of the train, puffing on his
Yeah.
cigarette, just going from one train car to the next. He's like, what am I going to do when I get there? I wonder. But I'm not going to lie. When he showed up for the final fight, I was so happy at the end of
I was
the fight in the last half hour of the movie. I literally said
hyped.
to my TV when he came out, I was like, my man, because he is that damn good.
Can you say his name? Can you say his name in Japanese again? Do it just one more time.
No, I'm not. I'm shy. That was a
Come on, do it.
It's
Do it.
There'll be other characters. Moving on.
So
Okay,
you'll do a
since you
kaoru.
already-
Do a kaoru. Do a kaoru.
Since
Oh,
you
God,
already
no.
since you already mentioned Enishi, finally let's get to the plot of this
Right.
movie we're going to talk
The
about.
fuck is this new
Rurouni
movie about?
Kenshin, the final. Okay, so we
Ugh.
start with Kenshin's
Kakainis.
peaceful-ish life after he's defeated Shishio, and he's well into the family and his community. But it starts out with a police chase, a police raid on the train where they
Mhm.
find a Chinese mafia boss named he's technically not Chinese, he's Japanese, but
He's
he
not, but he
was-
speaks Chinese in the beginning, so it's
he
cool.
does, and he
He's
looks
bilingual.
like a fabulous J-pop star with his orange jumpsuit.
Wait, can I just say?
His gray hair.
Sorry.
Fabulous.
Can I mixing it? Pwede sumingit. Kasi parang, when I was watching the fight in the last part, I was like, hey, papasang BTS member tong kaaway ni Kenshin, ah. Because he had
True,
white
true.
hair. He had white hair. I was like, oh.
But since we're in Japan, let's make it J-pop and not K-pop.
Yes. To be
They're not
geographically
the same
accurate.
thing, you racist.
They're not the same thing, but
I know, they're not,
He would
they're
make a fabulous pop star with his
He
fashion
absolutely
sense.
would. But you know what's funny?
I'm
is,
just
like,
I
but
was just
we're-
cloud chasing. Hence the mention of
cops-
BTS.
Like, wait, so like the thing opens, like the police are looking for a Chinese crime boss, right? And they go into the train and everything is just period specific, pinaghirapan ng PD, ng costumes and everything. And then there's like this Naruto refugee in the corner. I'm like, I wonder if he's the one they're looking for. with
I
his tiny John Lennon glasses and
Well,
his crazy white hair.
You know where he was wearing loud colored clothes and his John Lennon glasses and his white hair. Maybe him not moving was him trying to hide. Maybe if I don't move, they won't notice me. Like Drax.
It's not like he was hiding anyway. He was like he was just like relaxed.
He was staying.
Pake, ang sarap ng cross
The
legs
one
ng
guy in
ubo
the
niya.
entire train who looks like an anime character. That's the bad guy.
Well,
No,
they did-
that's not
they did
true.
good from the anime. It is directly from the anime design. But yes, this J-pop star we are talking about is Yukishiro Enishi,
Mhm.
who will connect to Kenshin's past. Well, here he is, of course, about to take revenge on the Hitokiri Batosai, who killed his sister.
Shimura Kenshin.
I almost spat out my
Well, it's
water.
Batosai.
I almost spat
So,
out my water when MJ was saying that. It's like, you talking.
I like to surprise you. But yes, that's generally what is going to happen in this film. Enishi is basically going to ruin Kenshin's life. Not just his,
Mhm.
but all the people he loves and cares about, his entire city, pretty much.
No, like, yeah, we're going to go to that one line he says, which is pretty badass. Like, I'm not after your body, I'm after your soul. Was it that? Man, that's creepy. It's like, I'm gonna ruin your life.
Sorry.
It really
Thirsty
was.
comment. You're not after my body. Oh.
Priorities.
Kidding. He's cute though. He's cute.
I
you
knew
know me
it.
and my taste. You know me and my
I
taste.
knew it.
I like BTS and hot J-pop people. So
So Inishi has a personal axe to grind with Kenshin, and he's
Or
willing
sword.
to pretty much murder. What the hell did I say?
Axe to grind.
you said
No, axe
axe
to grind.
just-
Axe,
Yeah, you
axe to grind
you
is
got the term
you're,
right.
You're correct. You're
Oh,
correct.
thank God! I thought I said
But,
something
you know,
else.
We're just messing with you.
Yeah, but to be thematically correct, sword.
And basically the movie's about how he's willing to kill pretty much everybody that Kenshin loves and holds dear in his quest to basically screw with the former assassin. What did you guys think of the movie?
It was heavy.
Yeah.
So heavy.
I didn't expect to tear up at certain points in the movie, but I
Oh,
did. I
you
was like,
teared up.
a little bit.
Oh, look at
teared-
you tearing up. I only teared up in the first movie when all the references came back in, when the whole nostalgia factor, that's what made the first one so light. But this one is mainly focused on the OAV, which in the series and the manga was very heavy compared to the big bulk of whatever
Mhm.
was in the series, right? So the OAV kind of like more
OVA?
focuses more on Kenshin's more personal past, which is his relationship with Inishi's sister, who
Tomoe.
became his wife, Tomoe.
Tomoe.
She is one of the two people who gave him his iconic X scar on his face, and the other was caused by her fiance, who he murdered before he got on with her. Pretty
For
messed
democracy.
up, kind of like
Yeah, but she wasn't
kind of
the
messed up
reason.
to kind of like fuck
She
the
wasn't.
fuck
She
the
wasn't.
wife or future wife of the guy you just murdered.
Okay. For those of
That is
you
very
who
messed up.
aren't familiar, let's get things straight. Like, parang she wasn't the reason why Kenshin, Batusai murdered the fiance though. I think
No,
he
she
was a
wasn't.
body. She wasn't. He was just working as a bodyguard for a very important person that he had to assassinate.
Yeah. This particular couple haunts him not mainly because they were the two people who gave him his scar. It's mainly the guilt that really haunted Kenshin. When he killed Tomoe's fiance, it just kind of not literally and emotionally scarred him because he was kind of a tough opponent. He actually put up a fight, and it really stuck with Kenshin how this man really wanted to live because he had a fiance and a woman he loves. And
Waiting for
when
him.
he
He had something to live for, or someone to live
Yeah.
for.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Which is also kind of a theme for Kenshin. So he witnessed the crime scene the morning after and saw the utterly devastated Tomoe, and her cries must have like traumatized him for life. And fate will bring them together eventually. This is basically the topic of the beginning-ish, but just to give you context of why this feels so heavy on Kenshin is not only because he got the scars from them, but he actually ended up having a relationship with this woman and actually loving her with his whole heart and accidentally murdering her.
Yeah,
At
that
the
would
end.
that would mess up a guy, I think.
That's pretty fucked up, man. So
Pretty
you do
much.
understand Kenshin having a lot of baggage and a lot of people coming after him for that.
Coming him? Why are they coming him?
Coming after him. So yeah, this is pretty much the traumatic past of Kenshin. And Enishi is there to bring it to the present because Kenshin killed his sister.
He's
So
out
he
for
was-
revenge.
Yes, because Kenshin killed his big sister by accident. So he went to China and became a J-pop star.
Wait,
A mafia
technically,
boss.
kung China, hindi na siya J-pop, right? Kasi nasa China siya.
I'm confused.
That actually
He's-
makes some kind of sense.
He has multiple cultures, basically.
Well, he can speak Mandarin and he can speak Japanese, so you go. The guy's
that is
it's pretty
talented.
cool.
Mhm,
It
mhm.
And he serves
Confused me.
arms. Okay.
It confused
Actually,
me
sorry.
'cause, like,
Sorry, the first lines that were thrown into the movie were in Mandarin. I was like, huh?
I was confused.
I had to check my audio settings when I was watching. It's like, huh? Sorry.
So, like, I am happy to say that I understood chunks of it, except for the parts about
Yes.
arms dealing, because you don't learn that shit in grade school. So basically, you find out that Inishi sold Shishio some of the weapons and the ship that he used in the last couple of movies. So that ties Inishi in. So basically, he's been a pain in Kenshin's butt for years, and Kenshin just didn't know it. But now he's come to collect in person what he thinks that he is owed, and it's revenge.
that was
the
kind of
thing is-
cool. That the build up to the character was kind of cool.
What
Yeah.
I was actually surprised going into the movie, because from the trailers and from what I saw in the lead up to the film was, I thought this would be about his love story with Tomoe. And if you've seen that is basically one of my favorite pieces of OVA, my favorite anime, anything
Movies.
of all time. It is just
So
so
fucking
good. The
Yep.
animated version, it's just beautiful. It is sublime, okay? It's animated in a completely different style from the regular show,
Mhm.
and it's a lot bloodier, gorier, and it goes deeper into the adult themes. And you see how severely messed up this highly trained assassin is, really.
It's like he's had a really traumatic childhood.
He did.
Right.
He was like trained from a young age to be the best swordsman on the planet.
No, he
basically.
saw the people that were taking care of him getting murdered in front of his eyes until he was eventually saved by Hiko Shijiro.
That's
his
true.
master.
That's true.
Yeah,
Who we saw in the last movie.
Yes,
The
we
Legend
did.
Ends. The Legend Ends, right?
The
Legend Ends.
You saw his foot
Apparently, it
at the
didn't
second
end.
one. Like his foot.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah,
close enough.
Yeah, and the legend didn't end. So,
No, it didn't. The legend still goes on. As long as we make money, the legend continues.
Well, baka the final is the end. I don't know. Never mind.
Here's what confuses me about the release order. Okay, so obviously you have the first three, which are pretty much the arc of the anime and the manga.
Yeah, it's like
and
the
then
first
the
two
OAVs.
seasons.
Yeah, and the OAVs are pretty much Kenshin's prequel and epilogue, sort of. So I don't know why they started with the end when they could have gone with the beginning or like how he meets Tomoe and ends up killing her.
I have a theory. I have a theory.
So at least kung yung end yung huli, at least happy ending naman siya. Kasi we all know how the beginning ends and it's fucking depressing.
Okay.
Bisha saying,
I have a theory. Because it's been 7 years since the last two movies came out, right? So maybe they didn't want to front load it with a prequel. It's been that long. But maybe they didn't want to front load it after so long with a prequel where you pretty much didn't know anybody except Kenshin. They wanted to bring back all the familiar faces. They wanted Saito, Kaoru. They wanted everyody up front. And if you look at the manga and then you look at the movie,
you think they shot these two movies all at the same time, like they did the last two movies, because they have footage of the flashbacks in the final. So they could have just marketed it, as like they did the last two movies. The parang, we're gonna show you the prequel to the Legend of Batusai. And then this is going to be the final act. They could have done that. I don't know. That's off the top of my head. That's what I can think
means, I guess, on a continuity standpoint, because you left off with Shishio and then you connect it. But I'm just commenting in terms of how it's gonna make you feel.
I agree.
You do see that the last one will be fucking depressing, since you know that Tomoe dies at the end of it, and it's fucking sad. But if that's the last you're gonna see of all of them, ang sad. But fine, I get it. I get it in a continuity standpoint. Fine.
Yeah, but I mean, they could have just
depressing.
They could have just started it with the beginning.
Have you seen how quickly they reboot movies now? They don't even wait 5 years. So you're expecting people to go back 7 years and remember every single name, every single face.
So bagay, I had to rewatch all of it din naman.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Fair enough, because I did
people
too.
are stupid now. They need to be reminded. Look at it this way. Like I was saying earlier, if you look at the manga version of this story was never actually animated in the anime. This story arc wasn't done yet when the anime was being made. That's why they had that bullshit Shogo Amakusa arc for the third season.
Oh my god, that was so bad.
Have you ever seen a whole season as filler? Oh my god, that was so bad.
Yeah.
The manga wasn't done yet. And
oh my god, the one where Kenshin goes blind.
The one where Kenshin fights Christians, boys and girls.
Oh my god. Did he fight the Templars or something? I don't know.
It was really bad. It was just really fucking bad.
Didn't he fight the guy who was on a horse with a lance? It's a lance.
Hello. No.
Or basically some guy claiming to be some sort of nth number of nth coming of Jesus. So,
yeah, man.
That's why his AKA is Son of God. I'm like, oh my god, what are we watching?
But I was like, should I be offended as a Christian?
But the third season in a perfect world would have covered this whole Inishi arc about the brother of his former love coming to seek revenge for her accidental death. But if you look at, and they never really animated that except in another OVA, which we'll talk about later because it's really terrible. There are characters here that show up way earlier than they do in the manga. Like Sojiro. At the last time we saw Sojiro, he wanted to go off and find his own identity without somebody dictating it for him, whether it was Shishio, Kenshin, whoever the hell, right? He went off to find himself. He doesn't come back until Yahiko's an adult in the manga. But here, because again, we need to be reminded of why we love this franchise because it's been 7 years, they brought him right back. And I can imagine if we were in the cinema, the second you see him doing this little skippy thing, you would have cheered. You would have cheered if you saw him in the cinema.
I was cheering, but I was like, he's not supposed to be there, but yay!
It was just so fun seeing old faces.
I had to pause the movie while watching. I was like, did he show up in this story arc? No, he wasn't.
Absolutely. He shows up way later.
It's been years.
Yeah, but I was happy to see him.
And they have one of the better fights, actually. Holy shit, when it's the two of them going up against Inishi's men, that is amazing.
That fight was kind of like Rey and what's his name? Her love interest. That Star Wars movie sucked when they fought against those red guards.
Rey and Kylo, yeah, that was awful. Yeah. But that was a good fight though when they were together.
Yep.
Are you saying Are you saying Kenshin and Sojiro love each other that much?
No, I was just comparing the scenes, juxtaposing. Not saying they love each other that much. Maybe Sojiro just admires Kenshin because he was inspired after he was defeated by Kenshin.
Why did all of Inishi's men look like, reject immortals from 300?
Oh my god.
All their foot soldiers, they look like leftover immortals. I know it's also a Warner Brothers movie, but...
I mean, it's not leftover. It's not rejected. It's like low budget immortals because, no armor. This is
fine,
cloth.
Fair enough. And
all right.
I'm not... Look, I've seen the Shishio arc way too many times. So I'm more familiar with the bad guys from the first 2 seasons. And because this season never got animated, I honestly don't remember if they took liberties with Inishi's men. I know a couple of them were repurposed for the first movie. I remember that because it made sense because they had that whole Gatling gun and they were doing drugs. But in this one, we have like a full-on cyborg.
Yeah. Dude, it was like fighting. There's this character in Final Fantasy VII named Barrett who was basically this dude.
Yes, that's what it looked like. And then the other guy looked like Mantis from Metal Gear Solid.
Which? Oh, yeah.
He did. I was like watching this. I'm like, it's like Kenshin's fighting video games. But you know what's funny
really
though?
Sure about the references to those characters.
I was trying to remember if I saw these guys in the OVA or the anime. Definitely not. But I was trying to remember if they were in the second terrible OVA.
Which is kind of sad because I know the Jupon Gatana more.
Yes.
And they were given a lot of screen time in the anime for you to get to know them, but half of them was just basically murdered by Saito in the beach. So
that's true.
Okay.
Because Saito's awesome.
Saito's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Something that I wish that we had, these movies, make no mistake, these are some of the finest, if not the finest manga to live action translations I've ever seen. No bullshit. Mm-hmm. But something that I wish they had was more time. Like if this was maybe a 10-episode series, then maybe Sanosuke wouldn't just be an afterthought in the first movie. It was great to see him, but why is he here? Or in the second and third movies, what MJ said, why the hell is Shinomori Ayoshi Oniwa Banshu here? I don't fucking know.
Yeah, he did Ayoshi dirty, I swear, in the last 2 films. His motivation was so shallow in the movie. Because you do explore it more in the anime, but it's like you see why he's so angry at Kenshin. I just want to defeat the best.
And then in
can I rant about how dirty they did Ayoshi in this movie? I mean, he barely he barely had any lines in this movie, and then
I couldn't believe he died.
He didn't.
They didn't show that he died.
Okay, fine. They didn't show he died. I assume he died because Misa was pissed off.
In any
Misa would
movie,
probably be more broken if he actually died.
Yes,
true.
She wouldn't even have the will to give us that badass fight scene in the end. Like I'm so happy about
amazing.
That.
Yeah, but anyway, let's complain about Ayoshi first. Didn't they just blow him up or something, and then we just see him with like a wall on top of him? It's like,
basically nadaganan lang siya.
Exactly nga eh. It's like
in painfully simple terms, nadaganan siya.
Yeah, but I know people whose favorite character is Ayoshi, and then you just see him like blown up in this movie. Like you're one. I have friends like most of my friends love Ayoshi. Like more than like some of them like him.
I love Ayoshi, but I can't take that the live action is like a bad render of Ryan Agoncillo. Like seriously,
No, don't give me that visual. No.
because it is. It's true. Look at him.
No, I refuse. I refuse. I will block that image out. I will block it out forever. No,
You can't. When you see the nose, it's all over.
No.
He does have the
No.
Ayoshi. He does have Ayoshi
No.
soft nose.
Ryan Agoncillo doesn't have those fabulous bangs.
All right. Fine,
Okay.
fine.
Okay,
But he does have long hair now. He may have the fabulous bangs now.
So how he ends? He doesn't die. They don't show him die. But there's a whole bomb explosion, multiple bomb explosions in the city, and after saving an innocent bystander, he gets crushed by the debris. It's so sad.
I can see you're emotional. Would you like a moment?
It's like
It was so.
do Ayoshi dirty in this entire series. How could you?
No, but the thing is, for a character that is so badass, and to see him leave the series in such underwhelming fashion, the guy doesn't
right.
even.
Happy ending.
MJ's
No,
right. Let's
that-
use comic book movie logic. We didn't see a body. We didn't see a
Yeah.
funeral. He could be fine somewhere.
Yeah,
Drug
exactly.
doctor could be taking care of him. He could be in Megumi's
Yes.
clinic sucking
Which
opium.
is why I said,
Hey, she doesn't do that anymore.
yeah, she's not
that's
being
what she
coerced.
says. That's what she
Well,
says.
She doesn't say my sideline siya. So
Fine.
Okay,
Anyway,
in general, I wish Ayoshi was given more depth, but oh well, his trench coat was fabulous.
I
And his
know.
bangs.
I like his outfit here more than when he first showed up because his first trench coat didn't look that comfortable. I actually felt bad for him in the summer heat of Kyoto. You know, I was like, "What the hell are you wearing, man?"
But it was cool.
no, I mean like
I don't know. Maybe
The
Judai
tren-
picked it out for him.
Fuck you.
no, I mean
So, si Miss House Judai.
so sorry. Iba yung issue ko kay Ayoshi because again, it's the same as Saito. Like this Ayoshi's short, so he looked like a kid in an oversized jacket.
He's not short.
He didn't look like a kid. You're being judgy. Wait, we're all
didn't
completely
look
judgy. I have no
short.
high ground. I think
You have no high ground indeed.
I know. Don't get me wrong, okay? Like their characters, they were all spot on with their characters. I love
I'm not.
every
I'm
one
not
of
saying
them.
they weren't. I'm just saying visually he just looked shorter than the Ayoshi I saw in the
short?
anime.
Did he look short?
No, he
To
did
me.
not look short to me.
To
He
me,
look short?
to me.
Well,
Like,
it's
even Saito.
made-
Saito looks really short.
No,
Compared
habang
to
nga ni
the
Saito
anime.
eh. Well,
Not in
yeah,
general.
because the anime dude's like 8 feet tall, but
Well, fair enough. It's all
No, and-
exaggerated. in the anime.
What I was upset about was I'm seeing all these familiar faces after 7 years, and it's kind of freaky how little they've aged, except for like Kenshin around the eyes and the cheekbones. But for the most part, they all look like they just filmed the last movie like last week because they
Yeah.
all look the same. It's amazing. I mean, fine, they're on like their third Yahiko in 5 movies, but
Oh my
whatever.
god, yes.
They're like,
Like
on their
these kids
third
are going
fucking
through
kid.
puberty way too fast.
How dare they? I bet those Stranger Things guys never have to go through this. But the thing is, like, they're in it just to get knocked off by Inishi. Like, Sano takes it up the butt, Ayoshi kisses it goodbye from a wall falling on him. It's like they showed up. We wanted to hear more about them after not seeing them for so long. What are they doing? What are they up to? Is Sano flirting with Megumi? I don't effing know. It just would have been nice if they had some development, If just they show up essentially just to get bumped off, to give Kenshin motivation. And that kind of sucks. And Kaoru especially, she's just not very interesting in this movie.
Can I say I fucking hate Kaoru in this series? Bitch,
They
how
don't give
many
her-
times do you get kidnapped? Fucking
They
hell!
don't give her anything to do in these movies.
I mean,
Besides,
I mean,
Live
it's
with
funny
us.
because
Stay with us.
I thought
kill.
I thought she'd
No
be like a
killing.
badass character because she has a dojo. She teaches kendo.
Exactly. On the
a
show,
form
she
of
could kick his
combat.
ass.
Yeah,
On
and
the
then-
show,
but
she could kick his ass. Here,
in the
Waiting
movie,
to
she's
get
kidnapped.
good for is getting kidnapped and being motivation for Kenshin.
Exactly.
Hate it. I hate
Oh,
it so
well.
much.
Well,
Which
you do have
brings
Misao, so
Wait,
So-
okay, now I gotta bring this one up though. one of my favorite anime scenes of all time is in the Shishio arc when Kenshin decides he's going to Kyoto and he tells Kaoru that he has to leave. And
That
it's
makes
this
me cry every time.
it's this tear-filled farewell where he's all stoic, she's emotional because she's telling him he doesn't have to go back to being a killer, and it's dark and there's fireflies all around, and it's just one of
That
the
was beautiful.
most well done, well directed, well acted, well animated scenes that's in my memory. And then in Kyoto Inferno, the second movie, they did that exact scene, but they did it in broad daylight and with like 500% less emotion because the actress who plays Kaoru we don't have any connection to her because these movies she's just the kidnap victim. That's all her role is in these movies.
In the anime, you see her crying, like literally going on her knees and sobbing her eyes out when Kenshin leaves. In the movie, it's just like she's just standing there stunned. It's like at least in the anime, you saw how much she cared about him. But you do see that here, but not as much.
I think also something that as many gaps as there are in these movies, like with Kaoru's character or with like Sanosuke's introduction, his backstory, or even Shinomori Ayoshi's backstory, we go into this, we're coming from a place of nostalgia. We already love these characters. So we already know their backstory. So it's okay for us if they don't show it all to us. But I can't imagine how it would be like if a Muggle came into this movie.
Muggle. Hey, it's still Warner Brothers. It's still Warner Brothers.
I'm just saying, Like, I remember I saw the first one with my parents. After the premiere, I wanted to show it to them. So we saw it. They actually enjoyed it. But like, by the second movie, with the 8 million characters being introduced, with the Jupon Gatana, with Shishio and Ayoshi...
That might have been too overwhelming.
They had no idea what was going on. My parents were just like, what happened? What? Oh, it's not done yet. I see.
No. I guess it's really more for the fans.
But again, for what it is, I still say it's one of the more successful manga anime translations to live action that we've had. Because what the fuck is the alternative? Dragon Ball? Seriously?
No.
That
live
does
action not exist.
How about that Western Death Note? That was god awful.
I did not even see that.
Okay, fine. Something that's closer to this was the Attack on Titan live action movies, where the Attack on Titan exactly, like they changed the narrative entirely. Like, they made it this whole.
I did not understand why they bothered. Honestly.
But enough about that. We're talking about.
Sorry. Back to Kenshin. This is still a fantastic adaptation.
We wouldn't be as giddy as we are now if it wasn't in any terms acceptable or faith. It's more than acceptable. It was very, very satisfying to see it all on screen. So well acted. And the story, it has some gaps, but still very enjoyable.
Yeah.
So it takes you through that nostalgic ride.
I loved Inishi in this movie. Like, there wasn't really, like, when I saw the original OVA back in high school, was it? Anyway, back in high school, there wasn't really anything much to go about Inishi as a character, except that he hated Kenshin because of what Kaoru is. But when this...
Just to be clear, he's talking about the second OVA, where Inishi is a full-formed bad guy already.
Yeah. Yes.
Because, like, the first one was the prequel. The second one was a sequel.
Yes. Was Inishi in? Yeah, he wasn't the first, but anyway,
he was, but as a little boy. But he was in the sequel OVA, which is set after the anime. It's called Rurouni Kenshin Reflections, and I'm sorry, MJ, but we got to go into this one.
It's so bad. Comparing.
No, but that's where Inishi showed up. That's the only other place we see him. Honestly,
yeah. I'm fine with the Inishi arc. I just hate how it all ends.
Yeah, but anyway, or how they used. Or how they formulated the story about Kaoru and Kenshin. Anyway, but this Inishi in the OVA, aside from him hating Kenshin for what happened to Tomoe, there was really nothing much to go about him as compared to how this character in this Inishi in the movie, where there was just so much more depth. You could feel more emotion with this guy.
That was in the manga, to be fair. They just never animated the fucking thing because they were doing the Christians.
Yeah, because
That sounds so wrong.
But they were. It was so bad. You know, like anime have
Just
filler
that statement
episodes
itself.
in between story arcs. This is a whole filler
Yes.
season.
so that
It was
the
shit.
anime can catch up
As
with
you
with the
mentioned.
actual manga.
But then they got canceled, so fuck that.
Back to Inishi.
So yeah, I never read the manga. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So I wasn't really familiar with Inishi. Like, to him come out and say that I was doing all these things, I was the mastermind for all these fights you had to go through, and now I'm coming to collect my dues. What you owe me, I'm gonna come personally and kill you myself. That was just so different.
It was mostly faithful to the manga, I can say, honestly, but it took out a lot of things. Like in the manga, there was an entire bit where Kenshin is actually given the diary of Tomoe by somebody that he doesn't actually know is his father-in-law, for example.
Gusto ko yun, dito sa movie, it just goes to Kaoru and she never gives it to Kenshin like a little bitch. Like a petty little bitch. Like, I'm not gonna give you your ex's memorabilia. No.
She managed to be Katipa at some point. It's like,
Pero well, she did give it to Inishi in the end, so it's fine.
To
but
be
then at the
fair,
same time, parang-
I think that's on Misao for giving it to the girlfriend, honestly. Misao should not have given the ex-girlfriend's deepest thoughts to the current girlfriend.
Malay mo,
That's on
Misao
her.
thought that she didn't think Kaoru was that petty.
Hindi. But
Apparently
you
she
saw it,
was.
right?
Gago.
Nagulat din siya.
Kidnap
She's like,
victim na
oh, you know about Tomoe. Oh, so you were gonna give me the ex's diary without telling me who she was? Fuck you, kid. What the hell is wrong with you?
It's like, kidnap victim na nga si Kaoru throughout the entire series. Tapos petty pa siya. Ayaw pa niya ibigay kay Kenshin.
Diba?
she's the
Like,
petty
actually-
damsel in distress.
Oh my god. Okay, so like the only other place that we've really seen Inishi in action is that god awful OVA that comes after the animated series. Now, most people have seen the first OVA, which was the origin of the scar. They've seen the anime, but a lot of people haven't seen Reflection because honestly, you're not missing much. But in a nutshell, it basically is like a bunch of vignettes just telling everything that happened in fast forward over 2 episodes, everything that happened that would have happened in season 3 as Kenshin looks back on his life, because at this point he's had a kid with Kaoru and Yahiko's running the dojo, and Kenshin decides, I cannot live this civilized life. I'm gonna go off and die in peace because like I got leprosy or some shit.
Well,
He helps.
thank God they didn't do it in this movie. That's
Oh,
what
there's
I'm
more.
grateful for.
There's more stuff that you're going to be grateful for because apparently, like all these years that he's gone, he helps Japan take over Korea, and yeah, that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
And then he comes
Yeah,
back
let's
just to
not-
die of leprosy. He comes back to die of leprosy in Kaoru's arms.
I
'Cause he
think I remember
realized that he
that
was
Kaoru. I think I remember that Kaoru kisses him when he was dying of leprosy. I was like, won't she get
I think at
leprosy
some
too?
point, she tells him that she doesn't care and just, let's do it anyway. I'll have leprosy too and we'll be happy together. And he's like, no, I can't do that to you. Who did
Well,
they
thank
write
God.
that for? Like, seriously, who wanted to see that?
Well, at
Yeah,
least
that
here,
OVA sucked.
It really did.
well,
Ugh.
again, I say this is not what happened in this movie at the very least. And,
I
and
actually
I'm
like
glad.
the ending.
Yeah, the ending of this
yeah.
was nice. The ending here was basically they've defeated Inishi. He's in jail. He's crying his eyes out from reading his sister's diary and how she doesn't hate Kenshin at all and makes him regret all his life choices. And this ends with Kenshin and Kaoru at Tomoe's grave where they just say a prayer. And I just love how the lines went when Kaoru asked, when they asked each other, Kaoru and Kenshin asked each other, what did you tell Tomoe? And Kaoru was like, I said thank you, and I know, Anishi somehow still saved me, and I guess it was her talking to him, not to kill me. And Kenshin was like, she asked Kenshin, what did you tell her? He said, I told her thank you, I told her I'm sorry, and goodbye. And then he holds Kaoru's hand.
That was so nice. It was like
The
he finally
closure.
made his
now
peace.
do you see why I think Kenshin? Why I say Kenshin isn't dense? It's because he was actually just looking for closure. This whole time, he just didn't want to acknowledge that Kaoru actually liked him, and he liked Kaoru.
For
So he
the
was just
sake
playing
of
dumb
cuteness,
the
can
whole
we just
time.
say he's dense?
I think he's dense. No, look, because he had that weighing on his head.
Why are we back to dense?
No. I think he was dense.
Why
because
are
he
we
had
back
this,
to him being dense?
no. He had this chip on his shoulder that he wasn't over with. So he was completely oblivious. He was an idiot.
By choice, it's like, I have to live and suffer
Can
through
we get
this.
over this, please?
So yes, I'm happy that he got his closure, to be honest, because like you could see that he was still carrying this chip on his shoulder for all of these years. That the second he found out who Inishi was, the second he saw who was behind all these recent killings that were happening in his town, he called a family meeting. He told Kaoru, get everyone. And I really liked that because over the last 3.5 movies before up to this point, they really have become a family, dysfunctional as they are. You got your hot-headed little kid who wants to be a swordsman. You got your drunk street fighter who's
God always madungis, by the way.
We don't
He's
know
so
why he's
madungis.
here, but
In
he's
all
here.
the movies, he's so fucking madungis.
He is.
Maybe he does. I don't want to know how he smells because he just seems like he doesn't take a shower all the time.
Well, he fell in the river at this point. In this one, I think.
Yeah, but then you get dirty if you don't clean up after, or if you're rolling around in the dust.
He gets
But,
covered in chicken
you know.
feathers, in blood, in flour.
Okay, wait. Like
Dirt.
Sanosuke had probably had the most glorious, battle charge in this movie also.
Well, he got the door open, right?
Yeah, but then it was pretty cool. Like he ran in with a battering ram while he was all bandaged up and had one functional arm.
Yeah, he did. He just wanted to fight. I felt so bad for him when Inishi beat the hell out of him. He put his head through a wall. He broke a scabbard over his neck. He was like, they're really gonna kill him, aren't they?
Yeah, I
he
thought
also
he was
used
gonna die at some point.
I would have been
same
so
here.
upset. Because
He's one of the more popular characters.
Ang cute na ni Megumi.
Especially that last part when she was bandaging him up. Tapos he says like, don't overdo it. And then Megumi just slaps him.
Yeah, I'm like, she's a doctor.
that's
She
cute.
should know better.
And then
But
she says, don't
she's
overdo
making
it.
lande.
Mhm. She's the fox lady. Well, anyways.
Yes.
She
anyway.
does that.
Sorry. Oh my God, Misha.
I fucking love this show. Screw you guys.
That's even better than the Saito impression.
The little fox ears. But yeah, I like that these dysfunctional fucking weirdos have become a family unit. That when it comes time to reveal Kenshin's big secret to everybody, he tells them as a family. Because it's time to come clean. And that's what you do with family, right? You work your shit out together. And that's why it gets a little bit repetitive whenever he tells them, stay here, I'm going to go take care of shit. Because they're all going to follow anyway. And those are the parts where these movies work the best. When it's him and his family fighting together. In the first movie, there was Sanosuke and himself taking on all of the opium guys. In this movie, there is one bit where there's like a long shot where it just traverses the entire length of an alleyway, and every now and then, Saito will come into the frame. Kenshin's running towards the camera, trying to get into the place. Misao is jumping across the frame, and I was like, "This is the way it should be with your light rock / world music inspired soundtrack with the wailing in the background for some reason."
Oh my
that
God,
works.
I hate the soundtrack. I'm so sorry. If there's
Somehow
something-
it works when they're
if there's
fighting
something-
as a group.
If there's no, okay, most of it was great. If there's really one bone I have to pick, it's the main theme where there are like
The wailing? World music. I don't know where that came from. I don't know where that came from.
Okay,
that is my bone to
the-
pick with this
it was-
entire series. That main theme with that.
That was the
I don't
least
even know what to call
Japanese. That was the least Japanese in the whole in this whole movie. But I mean, like, I didn't think it fit the whole setting and the theme.
No, it didn't. It really
It's like,
didn't.
Interesting creative decision, but okay, fine. I'll take it.
It might be something of Japanese culture that we're not very familiar with in general, but we're just
No,
talking
fair
about
enough,
how
it's not.
it fits this. It's not? Okay, so
I
it just
think
doesn't fit
they
the
just
scenes.
left. I think like the editor had an Enya CD in at the time when he was working on this. But
There-
again,
No,
for
Enya
me,
would be,
if it
Enya
was
would be
Enya,
more subtle. And it
For
would be
me,
a
at
lot
this
more
point, it's
subtle.
Pavlovian. I know that when I hear those stupid wails, that awesome shit is about to happen. Awesome
Yeah,
shit
it's
is
not-
about to happen.
Yeah,
It
but
is,
it's not
but
supposed to sound like 300. It's not supposed to sound like 300.
But
That
yes,
is my-
This
That's
is
my
not a
biggest bone
Greek.
to pick.
It's not a Greek, a Greek battle. It's Japanese.
and can we just talk about the battles because they're kind of awesome?
Yes!
I
Dude,
like how
this is-
they thread the line between he's not a superhuman, but he's like pretty damn super.
Mhm.
It's like-
I
it's
know,
like-
the
it's
fight
like the-
scenes were amazing. They were
It's
fast.
like the anime.
They were breathtaking because literally you have no room to breathe because everything's going on so fast. But
I
in a
like
good
the
way.
I like the fact that somehow it seems very it's not very realistic.
No, but it's
It's
grounded
gr-
somehow.
Yeah, you get. I can't articulate it, but yeah, I think that's.
I can't
what
articulate
was
it
trying to
either. It's
get
like
to.
there's clearly wire work being used. There's clearly some
Yeah.
CGI, but somehow it's kind of within the realm of possibility. Like if you
Wait.
were super
Hold
strong,
on,
you kind
hold
of
on.
could do that.
Hold on, I think I got it. Like you know how when you have fight scenes that have a lot of wire work in it, it just feels so unnatural. It just
Right.
it's choreographed so well. But
Yeah.
this one manages to bridge the gap between grit and stylized.
I think it's
Yeah.
because
I
this is
think.
like it looks like an extension of their abilities rather than their abilities. Like the wires, like they can fly. No, but they can just jump really high. Stuff like that. Does that make
Yeah.
sense somehow?
Or
Yeah,
they
it
just
does,
bounce
because-
back on if they get hit so hard, they just manage to bounce back or change direction so rapidly as if
It is
so You know?
good.
ugh.
Is and one thing I love about the entire series, and it is so incredibly consistent. All the fight scenes in each and every movie was so good.
It's
And
so-
that's what makes me thankful about it being directed by the same person because
Yeah.
the first one was good and it
And-
was able to maintain that all throughout the currently four
Did-
movies.
did you
because
see-
Keiichi Otomo has vision and he just continued with it all throughout.
And
Did you
I
guys
like
see
that.
the training video of Takehiro Sato?
Yeah.
There's
Yes,
so much
that was
work.
awesome.
There's-
Like,
just watching it,
what I like about Takeru Sato is like he brings a lot of physicality to it, but also some
Yeah.
kind of crazy dignity somehow that it looks
Mhm.
plausible. And
Mhm.
a lot of that I would think comes from his experience doing stunts when he was Kamen Rider. Because, that's a big action show. He was doing martial arts like every freaking day. So
Yeah.
when I think moving on to this, he brought a lot of that physicality to it and it shows. And
Yeah,
fantastic.
I mean, like especially when he gets into that running stance or when he starts running, and
Mhm.
like Kenshin's supposed to be fast, and then you see it in how he moves, you see it in his posture. He had it to a point where it was believable, like, even if the guy was if he was faster than a freaking
Mhm.
machine gun from a guy's
I don't
arm.
care. He could do that. I believe it. It
Yeah.
happened in a movie. It has to be
Kenshin Himura.
real.
Yes.
Mhm.
Good
But
stuff.
it just the swiftness of everything also is just so perfect with the whole samurai theme because you do imagine that they move lightning fast, so it just fits. Everything just
Good
it's so
stuff.
beautiful.
and then, in contrast, you have Saito, who does not give a shit. He will just beat your ass on his own time. He's not in a
Okay.
hurry, but he's gonna beat your ass.
No,
he's-
but this
he moves.
remember that scene where I mentioned he spits out the cigarette he's smoking as he's fighting? Oh, this was the scene where that shit's going down because final boss of Saito spits the cigarette and starts kicking ass.
Basically, Saito's like this. He is, I'm moving my own time, motherfucker. So it's like, la, 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 la.
I'll move
But
when
when
I
somebody
need to.
charges at him, it's like, la, 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 la. Alam mo yun? Parang, I do my
Right?
shit fast so I can smoke.
I know.
I love that. I love that they kept his signature move from the anime in the movies.
Oh, every time he raises his sword over his head and stuff,
Yeah.
with his outstretched arm, every fucking time, it's like,
Yep, I was like,
there
yes,
it is.
yes.
His Bato Jutsu. But yes. Fucking hell, I
So
love those
badass.
movies.
And here, at least, especially in this last movie, you already mentioned how it all comes together in the final battle. Can we talk about how awesome Miss Sao
Oh, yeah.
was?
Yes.
She was given so much fighting screen time and it makes me unbelievably happy because yes, she's a fucking ninja and she can fucking kick your ass even though she's freaking tiny. She's half
Right.
Genshin size.
But that was good though. Like she had that whole Bruce Lee moment that come at me. It's like that part made
Well,
me,
you know, her
made me
favorite
scream
boy
on the
band
inside.
gangster leader, had a wall fall on him, so she was motivated.
Her favorite J-pop idol.
Misao was awesome in this one because she actually had something to do. She wasn't just like a sidekick like she used to be, essentially.
Mhm. Yeah, she had like this great shining moment, and she was actually fighting one of the tougher guys, right? Wasn't that the guy Aoshi was fighting before he got blown up?
Psycho Mantis?
I'm still not over the fact that they had to fight video game characters.
I mean, like, it just looked like it. But the funny thing is, like, the original comics, like, if you look at the designs, a lot of them took inspiration from, like, Western comics. Like Jin-A was Gambit, basically. If you look at him, you can never unsee it. Like, down to the black eyes with the white pupils in the middle.
No.
He was Gambit. Jin-A was Gambit.
I know, but you don't. I got to point it out.
So it was just... And Misao is generally annoying if you watch the English dub where she sounds like a man for some reason.
Yeah, she does. I still loved her though, but okay. English dub, fine. But I'm just... I wish at least some of that was given to Kaoru. Because you know that she's capable.
She's a teacher.
Like
she should
in
know
the
that
anime,
shit.
in the anime,
Well,
she's a martial artist. They even say that she's a martial
in the
artist.
big Kyoto battle when they thought that they were going to set Kyoto on fire. Tama ba Kyoto? Oh, Kyoto.
Yeah,
Kyoto.
Sorry,
but then
I
she
get
gets
Kyoto and
kidnapped
Tokyo
by a
confused
12-year-old.
Yeah,
She gets kidnapped
but,
by a 12-year-old on a horse.
yeah, you see that a little, but I would like to see more of. But if you get kidnapped, at least put up a fight. But no,
Mhm. Yeah.
well, at least there's that strong female representation in Misao. At least at the
I did
very
not
least.
see that coming, honestly. I did
Yeah,
not see
'cause-
that coming, but I never knew that was something I needed in my life, to see Misao kicking ass. That was awesome.
You know, in the anime, I've always been waiting for Misao's moment, even in the Kyoto raid, but she never got it.
I'm Misao. Look at me. I sound like a dude.
But I'm just
Okay,
glad
she
she got.
didn't-
I'm just
Hey,
glad she got her
Kenshin!
shining moment in the movie. I mean, like,
Yeah,
come on.
that
I
was
mean,
cool.
it's been years. Like, Misao needs something. Misao needs to look cool at some point. They managed to do that here.
Something I liked about Takeru Sato's portrayal, I said earlier, like he can go from badass stone cold assassin to absolutely clueless the next minute. He's always polite also. Like his friends are going to be killing themselves to cover his ass so he can go after the main threat. He always be like, thank you. He will say thank you before he runs off in his ninja run. He is very polite.
I appreciate
He's
that.
a very
I
nice
appreciate that.
assassin.
I mean, like, the coolest part, Siguro, since we're talking about the final battle, I think, was when Sojiro joins the battle.
I know. I did not see that coming. Holy shit.
I mean, like, you thought that, Hai Xiang, the bad guy, or whatever, hires Sojiro to kill Batusai.
The Chinese
or
dude who speaks
Kenshin.
Japanese in his private moments, yes.
Yes, yeah. You just had to point that out.
They couldn't make up their minds. Is he Chinese or not?
Anyway, yeah, so Sojiro shows up and then it's like, oh yeah, I became a Rurouni also after my defeat from Mr.
BT
Himura.
dubs.
Yep. And then he just jumps down, throws away his sword, and starts beating everyone up with the fucking sheath of his samurai sword. That was so badass, alongside Kenshin Himura. That
Yeah,
was
we
so
can also
cool.
talk about that battle with Inishi. Pretty good too, although interrupted at the very end. But I really liked it too.
By the
I
same
love-
Chinese guy who couldn't decide if he could speak Chinese or Japanese. Yes.
Yes, it was rudely interrupted.
Can I say I love the staging of that Inishi fight? Because like they were inside
Yeah.
this circular
Yeah.
room with a fountain in the middle, and there were like columns in between them and the windows, and they used every damn thing in
Everything.
that room to hurt each other with. And
Yup.
it was
Actually,
epic.
In general, I love how they really use the environment and the
Yes.
action scenes here too. Because you don't see
Yep.
that in the anime much. Because it just focuses on the fighters. But here, you see shit break. You see, walls come down.
You
doors,
see people going
doors get
through
broken.
walls.
Yeah, exactly. So great use of environment too. And in that final battle with Inishi too, you see like a whole, you call that a pagoda thing? And also, can I also bring up how casually Enishi has a lot of swords there, and when
Oh,
one
no.
breaks, he just gets another one.
Yes, I love that.
So casually, and Kenshin's just like waiting there. It's like, let me pick
But-
another weapon to kill you
But
with.
I like that. I like that, yeah, because again, like as you guys mentioned, they use the environment. But it was just so organic. I break one, I'll pick one up. I have this room full of swords. Why won't I get one? Why would I just rely on the sword I'm
Exactly.
holding now, diba? That's so badass. And it,
Right.
Oo nga.
yeah.
And
Can I just
Kenshin's
point-
also badass in waiting. It's like, okay, yeah, I'll let you get your weapon.
Can-
I'm not
can-
gonna
can
take
I-
advantage of this moment. I'm a virtuous fighter.
Can I also just point out at how fun these fights were, because you see all these characters have kind of have superhuman abilities, even if they're not superhuman. So parang, oh yeah, sige, I'm fighting against a group of 15 people. Isang hampas, lahat sila lumilipad. It's like, okay. It's like,
And
it's like,
I think
it's like a video game.
I think like their signature move, Kenshin and Sojiro, is that running sideways on the ground thing. Because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love
I loved
that.
it. I loved
I
it when they were
love that
holding
so
hands
much.
and doing it in a circle.
Oh yeah.
I
It
was
was
like,
a dance.
oh my god, I'm so happy I can see this with my own eyes. I'm like, oh my god, some idiot got paid to make this.
Can I just say, I had to watch that fight sequence again. Like I had to scrub back on my tablet just to watch that again. It's like,
Mhm.
ang ganda. Replay.
I did it 3 times because I wanted to see what each of them was doing at any given time.
Yeah, I like
And
the
the
fact that-
staging is just
Like-
so good.
They kind of were throwing each other at the bad guys, like throwing ish.
Uh-huh.
It was like this weird foxtrot or tango, whichever dance you could compare that to. It's just weird. It's just funny. No, it was
Brilliant.
fun. I
It's
would go
this
with
kind of
brilliant.
speed and action you never really get from the anime, which is very satisfying.
Mhm.
Because in the anime, you just assume that they're fast with all the flashes and whatnot.
Except-
it's not that.
except-
Can I just point
Except-
out, in the anime, you knew that they're fast when Sojiro would run and destroy the ground.
and
Boom, 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 boom.
disappear
Sumasabog
for a
yung-
few frames.
Sumasabog,
That's
sumasabog yung sahig, tapos biglang wala na si Sojiro. It's like,
The only time they actually depicted the speed and all that stuff, in my memory, was Saito versus Kenshin when he's trying to bring out the Batosai in him.
Oh yeah.
Because you see Kenshin bouncing
yeah.
off the walls and lunging and twisting and flipping, and I was like, why don't they have this budget whenever there's a fight? But okay, fine. And to
But-
see it in live action,
Yes.
holy hell! But
Yep.
for reals, good stuff.
so who do you
So,
think would
okay.
win, Saito or Kenshin? It's like Apollo and Rocky.
They cheated. They did the Saito Kenshin fight in the first movie because I don't think they thought they were going to get a sequel. So it was kind of underwhelming. I would love to see them face off, but that's not where this movie leaves us.
That's why I'm comparing them to Apollo Creed and Rocky Balboa. It's like you never saw the third fight. You never saw the rubber fight, right?
Well, my money's still on Saito. Screw you guys.
Yeah.
Lol.
And he'll
Okay.
do it while he's puffing on his cigarette. I don't give a shit.
I'm on Team Saito. If he'll fight Kenshin with a cigarette, and then when shit hits the fan, he's gonna spit that out and kick ass.
So okay, final thoughts about the final movie. Well, this turned out to be a retrospective on all 4 films so far, but yeah, final thoughts.
My final
Honest-
thought, honestly, I think watching the original second OVA, the really bad one, I'm just glad that we got something that concluded the series in a better way than what we got originally back then. In incredible fashion too, because the fight scenes were amazing. The characterizations of Inishi, I think, were more fully fleshed out in this movie. Ending on a high note, ending the actual story on a high note with closure. That's a pretty good thing to have. So I'm not looking forward to reliving his past in the beginning.
So depressing.
For me, I mean, exactly what Anjo said. It was great seeing these characters again. It was fantastic seeing them in action. It was finally nice to see a story arc that was never animated finally fleshed out in full. I mean, condensed, but full. But I didn't like that the majority of the emotion that you're supposed to go into this with comes from a storyline that they haven't fleshed out yet, which
Mm-hmm.
is the prequel story, the beginning, which is going to be in the next movie. So on the,
The
marketing
final
side,
movie named
on the marketing side, I understand why this movie had to come first, but thematically, narratively, I wish the prequel came out before this. Honestly,
Mhm. Same.
It's just ironic that the final movie is going to be called The Beginning.
Oh, I know. Para, huh?
well, the last one was The Legend Ends. So if the beginning makes money, there will be more.
Oh my God. Please
What
don't
if-
make the Christian arc. No.
Nobody wants to see
Nobody
Kenshin
wants to
fight
see that.
Christians.
Wasn't there an arc where he was fighting alongside this like feng shui expert or something?
Oh God.
Oh no, no,
Yeah.
that was bad too.
So which is worse, that one or the Christians arc?
Let's not make
Yeah,
both
we
of
won't.
them.
No.
Yeah,
How
me
about your
personally,
thoughts?
before watching the final, I literally marathoned all three before getting to it. It was just an amazing ride of nostalgia and general satisfaction because this is how you please fans. You give them perfectly casted characters. You give them as much of the story as you can, as faithful as it can. You give them elevated fight scenes. You give them the excitement and everything in between. I'm generally happy with this. Well, it's not perfect, but it will really satisfy the fans. So if you're a fan and you haven't watched it yet, I don't know what you're doing with your life, so go watch it. But yeah, I just wish we wouldn't, if ever the beginning will be the end. Gulo. If ever the beginning will be the last film, that is a very depressing note to end on, but I'd still gladly see it. If it has the same weight as the anime did with, oh my God, all the blood on the snow, so cinematic. I can't wait to see that.
It was.
I think it's fair to say that we all recommend this, especially if you are a fan of Rurouni Kenshin. So
Absolutely.
maybe take an emotional roller coaster like I did and watch all
Yeah.
four and binge watch. Oh my God, that was a roller coaster, but it was so satisfying.
I think it would do everyone well to rewatch the trilogy
It didn't
before
even
watching
feel
this
like
just to
7
refresh
years,
themselves.
but yeah, okay.
Because
just
it's been
do it.
7 years.
Take yourself on that ride
So,
and
yeah.
enjoy.
The good news is you're not going to have to wait that long because the beginning comes out at the end of July.
Beginning and
I
I'm
know.
so confused.
So again, let me try that
The
again. Let
beginning
me
comes
try
out
that
at the
again.
end.
The fifth movie, which is touted to be the final
Nakakainis.
sequel, entitled The Beginning, is going to be released at the end of July.
There you go.
That was that was painful. I'm sorry. Good God.
But you get the picture.
Okay.
Okay.
Yay.
Arigatou gozaimasu for listening to us ramble on about our favorite anime and how it was beautifully adapted into a movie. We've got our Facebook group, Sub-Auteurs. We love movies. Oh my
We
God, I
like-
don't know the name of my own group.
like
We like movies.
All right. There. Well, I don't know. We love it too. But yes, we have
We
that
do.
group. Sub-Auteurs, we like movies. Join us as we talk more about what we love to watch. And you can feel free to suggest any future topics that we're about to cover and any feedback on what you're listening to now. We also have Instagram at sub_auteurs. Give us a follow.
Woohoo!
Arigatou
And ariga, thanks
Domo.
for listening.
Yeah.
I'm MJ.
I'm Misha.
And I'm Anjo.
Sayonara.